Hello, I'm Kim Sauer at Electronica 2016. I'm joined by Joan Vrtis from Multek. Joan, it's great to see you again. And there are lots of things happening in the market, wearables, etc. But a key theme that we're hearing about more and more is VR, AR, virtual reality, augmented reality. And there, again, lots of interesting things happening there as well. So can you give us a little bit of a taste or an insight into some of those developments?
Sure. So it's really one of my favorite areas. So you have virtual reality, which is a lot of people see the kind of the lens. It's not even a lens. It's like you can put your phone right here and you can see a 3D image and you start working. And it's kind of great for gamers. I mean, the gamers.
It's on my Christmas list.
And
I'm seeing it all over the shops as well. So
there's a lot of them out there. So that one, I'll talk a little bit about that, but I also want to talk about the augmented reality, where that one you can basically see through a glass, but you have some additional information that could be a little bit of a distance away, based on your eyesight, can give you instructions. So when you look at virtual reality, again, the gamers have enabled that because of 3D and the lifelike look at it. But if you think about the future of this type of system, and if you are looking at teaching globally, and it's just a concept, you're teaching globally and you have maybe a child that's in China, a child here in Germany, and a child in the US, and you want them to collaborate on a project. These children may not be able to speak the language, so you can use some sort of language translator, but think about this, they can actually have a virtual classroom working together in order to solve a problem. And it's right there, because I've used these type of systems and they're addictive. But I see the growth that the globe is going to get very small because of these type of enabling structures. Another thing that's going on in the virtual reality world is when people start thinking about what does it look like in a sculpture. So you see artists using this now of kind of sculpturing it out, and if you can think about the next phase of that, because we have 3D printing, let's say you decide that you want to have this sculpture and you like the way it looks. You can hit go, and that can translate into a 3D printer, and here you go. You just created a virtual reality, you touched it, you feel it, and now it's actually a prototype that you can look at. So you think of what you can extend with these type of systems. Definitely, I see this as a huge advantage, and I see a lot of it going forward. So the gamers started it, but I see it has legs.
I mean, I can see it. I can actually visualize kids playing across boundaries, across cultures. I can see it in a business environment, teamwork.
Yes.
The world is a smaller place.
Yes.
Businesses are more global.
Right.
So, I mean, yes, we'd be sitting there maybe looking a little bit silly in our environments, but we'd be able to be a lot more creative and probably a lot more collaborative. So yeah, that's a great development.
I'm looking forward to that one, because that's one that I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
So also as a CTO, when the new ones come out, I have to buy it because I have to see what's going on. But on the augmented reality side, I think Industry 4.0 is going to continue to drive that type of technology, where you can perceive that you're going to do some maintenance, and you have a camera system that's part of this augmented reality. You can be looking directly at the tool that you might be fixing, and then that information can go back to maybe a control center that can help you with this, and it would print out in the in the augmented reality glasses, here's the script I need to go through in order to turn this knob, do this, here's where you need to try the electrical connections. So you see that. You also see it in inventory control in any kind of factory. You want to go in and you want to pull different part numbers. It's right there, here's the script, you're close, here's what I need to do. So there's that Industry 4.0 that's really going to drive that. I also see where the future of this is in the space where, we were talking the other day about an operating room, and in an operating room you can have something like that where you still have to focus in on what's going on with the patient, but you can also see maybe there's certain tools that you need, or some sort of script that's going on that you needed information on the actual patient, and it's right there. And so you don't have to fiddle with paper, you can just keep going and focus in on what you need. So I think it's going to transcend into a lot of the different industries. because of the things that are happening in the circuit world and in miniaturization, and we were talking about materials a little bit earlier, this is enabling these type of solutions because you think about it, you have to wear this and it has to feel comfortable. When the Google Glass came out, it had that optical system right here, which was a challenge for a lot of people. It was a little bit heavy, cumbersome, but if you think about it, everybody's like, oh, what are you going to do with that? Guess where this is at now? It's going into augmented reality, virtual reality. It helped enable, so companies that have that vision, and even though it might look clunky right away, it's not going to be in the future because there's solutions that people are pushing the boundaries, and we're always doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you see pictures of the future with that sort of technology integrated into not just glasses, but actually contact lenses,
lenses.
You, even on a show like this, you might be able to walk next to you, and this picks up your information, and I get your name and your business title and your address zoomed in on my lens.
That's not far away.
It's not. Yeah,
it's not far away.
Those are things you were developing, you were working on, and they're really exciting to actually see develop. What it does fit into is the overall Industry 4.0 IoT theme that again you see all over. So would you say it's obviously the enabling technology there to provide that information, and there's some technology and some circuitry behind that, but there's also lots of data that needs to be processed through that to the right place at the same time. Does that give you additional challenges when you're designing these type of products and solutions to think about, how can this device cope with that information that it needs to transmit or receive?
So that adds another complexity.
Yeah.
So there's solutions for it, and again, we were talking a little bit about miniaturization. So those type of solutions, so the materials, as we see things going forward and we're going towards the 5G, things have to stream. There's going to be a lot of movement of the electrons, so there's going to be a lot of information that'll be digested and then fed back. Things will get warm because anybody that has ever used their phone for a GPS, it gets pretty warm because it's always pinging, looking for information. Now think about that when you're streaming and you're having these type of glasses. So trying to understand the material properties and the cooling areas. What do you do with the battery? Because it's going to be constantly requiring information, and so that's always some way to, we're going to have to design from a component standpoint, kind of low energy solutions. But from the material standpoint, we can look at things like low loss materials, so the signal doesn't have that speed bump along the way in order to get the information there, so to be a smoother transition. And then as we look at the entire design, how much can we use in flexible circuits that allow for the lightness to happen, and then just put the rigid areas where you really need to have that ruggedization for the joints of those components. We have to take that into the design. So I think the materials aspect of these type of solutions for this constant streaming, the 5G, it's going to continue to push the envelope, but we've already planned for it. We already have roadmaps on where we're going to go, and augmented reality, virtual reality, that's just like the funnest applications, and
Absolutely.
And we really enjoy seeing those kind of things because it just helps us push the envelope of where we need to go, and we'll leverage that technology in other spaces, in the IoT, in medical, in automotive. Automotive is going to be a big area too. So overall, having these miniaturization type of things in AR, VR helps us with other industries.
Joan, exciting as
this
ever.
Is fun. Yeah.
Great talking to you. Thank you for taking the time
Thank you.
to talk to us today again.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Joan.